Howdy, welcome back to RC Restomod. And today we are going to go ahead and cover the third and final chapter of taking the Slash down to a bare naked frame. But first, after I got all the parts apart and I dug through them all and assessed them all, I found out that the pins in the front suspension were just not reusable. They're just too corroded and nasty, and the suspension was never going to act the way we want it to act with those in it. And the parts were pretty cheap, so we got new ones. We also got side bumpers, and I'm not certain we're going to need them with our body, but we've got them in case we do. And then we got a set of good matching set of wheels and tires, and we got some other goodies too. And we also got the rebuild kit for the steel drive shafts in the rear. Anyway, I've got all the parts. Assembly is going to start very soon, and I'm not going to do it in 3 parts. I've got some ideas on how to do it faster and better, where we can keep everything in frame so I'm not working on stuff out of the view of the camera. We're going to fix that. Bear with me, I'm new. When I went parts chasing, I used 3 different methods to acquire parts. One, I went to our local Traxxas dealer and got some parts, and there's some video from that. Secondly, I had an acquaintance, a friend's son actually, was visiting a hobby shop in Arlington, Texas, which is a big city that's fairly close to us, and he was able to get a couple of the parts, and I went ahead and had him look before I could check my local store, because when I've got a single source, it's always good to check and see if we can get some of the stuff from away. And actually, one of the parts I needed they had in Arlington and not here, and one of the parts they did not have in Arlington, but they did here. So it all worked out to where I got all my parts. We also got a few unexpected goodies. I'll show those to you as well. And I will break out the computer and the Slash brochure, or the manual that goes with it, so that you can see how to get the appropriate part numbers, and that will help your part search quite a bit. Anyway, let's get right to it, and we'll start with the parts hunt. Just in case you're wondering what the weird clicking sound that sounds like I have a horse in my house when I record sometimes is, it's this sweet lady. This is Raider. She's my lab mix that's been with me for nearly 16 years. Yes, she has long nails, but when we try to clip them, she gets really uncomfortable and can't walk, so we just kind of let her be. But she's a good girl and has been for a very long time, but that's where a bunch of the noise comes from. Okay, guys, I promised that I'd show you some methodology for getting the right parts for your RC car. The most useful thing you can have is the manual. We have here a Slash manual that I got with the cars. There's also places to find that online if you need it. Now, the first parts of this, all about the warranties and what to do when it gets messed up or whatever, in English, French, German, and Spanish. Then we come to this list of parts. And the list of parts is less than helpful, because it's pretty likely that you'll have a different name for a part than Traxxas's official name. And when you do that, you can get the wrong part expecting to get the right part, and I know because it's happened to me. So we'll skip past all that because it's somewhat less than helpful. Now here is what's good stuff. And what this is a exploded view diagram of the truck. And like, one of the parts we needed was the pins that go through the inner part of the front A-arm. And when I look right there, I see part number 2640. So I'm going to take a pen and a piece of paper, partially because I'm old, and partially because it's real easy to forget one digit, and if you're off by one digit, you're going to get the wrong part. So let's start with 2640, and then we'll label it inner A-arm pin. Then our outer pins were also corroded and nasty and so terrible that there's no way our suspension was ever going to act like we want it to. And also, after I checked, they were very cheap, so we're definitely going to get some. This is part number 3640. So let's write that down. Outer A-arm pin. Oh, and you know what else? When we dealt with these inner pins, we had those E-clips that were a horrible pain in the butt. Well, there's a picture of the E-clip, and it's part number 1633E, and that's our E-clip. All right, the next thing we needed was the side bumpers or Nerf bars. So it's not in the front end assembly because they're not on the front of the car. They're all attached to the chassis. So we come down to the chassis assembly. And here we have a picture of one, and here we have a picture of the other one. There's a part number right here, and a part number listed right here for it. And it is number 5823. And we'll go ahead and call them Nerf bars. All right. And the other part we needed was the rebuild kit, hopefully, if it exists, for our dry shafts. So we come over here and we've got the rear assembly. Well, we've got a problem, because if you look real carefully, right here you'll see the drive shaft that they have. Sorry about that. There's the drive shaft they have. There's the other half of it. And unfortunately, it doesn't look anything like the parts that we have on our car. Well, I know from experience, and if you don't have that experience, there's slash two-wheel drive owners group on a Facebook post. You can post the picture of what you have and say, hey, this doesn't match my manual, what is it? And those guys will help you. And typically they won't be too salty about it. They're usually pretty good about answering questions sincerely if you're not smart alecky about the way that you ask your question. Now, knowing that that is a Traxxas aftermarket upgrade part, we've got another way to find out what it is. So what we're going to do, this is a tablet, but any internet connected device will do. I normally use my phone, but right now it's busy being a camera. And let's get this down. So I was testing some stuff. So we're going to start right here, and I know that we need to find out if there is a slash steel drive shaft. And I cannot spell steel. So we'll back that up a little bit. S-T-E-E-L, not S-T-E-L-L. See what we get. Holy crap, the very first thing, if I look at the picture, it's black here, looks like chrome here. It's kind of big there, like it might have the rubber boots we're needing, but it's pretty small, so let's see if we can get a bigger picture when I click on it. Holy moly, look at there. That is the part that we have on our slash. It's got the rubber boots. I can see the steps on it. Chrome shaft going there. And then it's black out where the wheels tie on and back up where it ties to the transmission. That's got to be the right part. So let's also look at what it fits. Slash 4x4, Stampede, Rally, slash two-wheel drive. And that's what we're dealing with. Now that's not a part we're going to go hunting for directly. So let's put a line down here. This is basically just a note. And that is 6852R. Now, when you look at RC Superstore or A A-Main Hobbies, a lot of those. When you look at the part number on their website, it'll say TRA and then have a 4-digit number and then maybe a letter at the back. The TRA is for their website to sort it so that they can sort the parts by manufacturer. It's not part of Traxxas's part number. So 6852R is the only part we need. Now, I will speak up for RC Superstore. I did not know I had a local dealer. They're a bit stealthy. If you don't know, you don't know. But I knew I wanted a Slash. I knew exactly which one I wanted. I went online looking for it, and these guys had a pretty good deal that included a battery and charger for about the same price everybody else was getting for the base truck. So I bought it from them, and then I had problems with my charger, and I was very frustrated, but I really wanted to drive my truck. And when I figured out it was a charger problem, I also, in the process of doing internet searches, found out I had a local store. So I went there and bought a charger, and then I called these guys up and said, hey, I've had this problem. And they said, tell you what we'll do. We'll credit you the price of that charger and just throw it in the trash. They were super good to work with, super polite. The original shipment went out fast, so if you find a good deal from RC Superstore, take it. They're good people. All right, that being said, now let's go back up to the search bar, and we know we need a rebuild kit for 6852R. We don't really want the $80 complete set, so let's see what we got. Let's go TRAXXAS, and then let's type in 6852R rebuild kit. All right. That's not a rebuild kit. We'll kind of go across the top. No, lots of Traxxas parts. Lots of Traxxas parts. That's a rebuild kit, but it has O-rings in it. Ours does not use O-rings. That doesn't look right. Now that Traxxas steel spline, those are splined drive shafts. Let's see what that looks like. Whoa, would you look at that? We'll allow cookies, but I'm not going to tell them where I am. Those boots look very similar to the leftover pieces that were on our shafts. Those were missing on both, the little small ones, but those are definitely the right boots. It's got all the pins, some little pin holders, and I've learned about those from working on Techno and Associated cars. I'll show you how they work when I put it together, and it's not particularly easy, but I'll show you how to do it. It's not terrible. It's a little bit fiddly and slightly tedious, but it's really not that difficult. This looks like the threaded pins that go in and hold the drive shaft to the transmission. But our part number is right down here. It's a rebuild kit 4, part number 6452. Our part number from them is 6757. So we'll write that part number down. Now we've got that. Okay. Now sometimes I get dyslexic. I'm not making fun of people with dyslexia. I get numbers crossed up. Let's go with that. And I want to make sure that I actually have the part numbers that I want to have written down. So let's start at the top, 2640. And let's avoid eBay if we can. Traxxas. Okay, that's what Traxxas shows on it on their website. And if you look, let's see if I can blow it up a little bit. Yes, I can. Look at there, it's got the pins that we need because ours were corroded. But remember those E-clips that were such a horrible pain in the butt? It comes with 4 of those. And since it comes with 4, there's no sense in us buying 4 more because we were able to save all 4 of our originals. So we can lose half of those. Once we have these, we can lose half of our E-clips and still be just fine. So we don't need that. But 2640 is correct, so we're going to throw a check mark on it. We've already checked 6757 and it is correct. So now let's go Traxxas 3640. There's A-Main Hobbies, and A-Main is a trusted source. I will vouch for them. Not that old anything, I'm nobody, but I'm telling you, they're good and good to get. They're good to deal with. Look at that, that's got all the pins. These bigger pins, I believe, are for the rear A-arms. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these big ones. Yeah, we've got all the pins for only $4.50. You can see why I wasn't too excited about cleaning them. Anyway, those are definitely what we're looking for, so let's check mark that. And that only leaves us with Traxxas 5823 Nerf bars and Amazon. Several people are showing them, and that is the black Nerf bars. That is exactly what we're looking for. So those are the parts we need. Now, when I started visiting with one of my friends, and actually you're going to see some video from his house in a little bit because we went to John's house and he had some Nerf bars. They're under a different part number because they're manufactured by a company called RPM, and RPM makes high strength replacement parts for lots of different RC cars. If you've got a part that you've broken, when you break it a second time, see if RPM makes a replacement. They are way, way, way better. Especially the front A-arms on a Basher have a very short lifespan if they are factory Traxxas parts, but you can replace them with RPM part and they'll last indefinitely. They are much, much tougher. I don't think they're quite as precise. I think the way they live is they give a little bit, so it doesn't hold the wheel like exactly where you want it. Like with the race car, you'd probably rather have one that breaks every once in a while but holds your wheel more steady than one that's kind of given a little bit. But when you're backyard bashing, that really doesn't matter. So the Nerf bars we have taken care of, so we'll put a plus sign on that one because we're getting those from John. But that left us with 3 parts, and John's son was in the Metroplex in Arlington, Texas, and was going to go to a hobby store. And so John put out the call to the club and said, hey, does anybody need any parts? And I gave him these 3 part numbers. And this was over the weekend. And so Josh checked there, and they had, I can't remember exactly which, but they had one of these part numbers and the rebuild kit. I could not check my local store because they're only open Monday through Friday and then a half day Saturday. So I could not check with them because they were closed. So I went ahead and sent those numbers up, and Josh got the rebuild kit and then one of these 2 part numbers, and I don't remember which. Then Monday when I went into the local store, they had the other pin number. I think the 3640 was what they had locally, and they also had the rebuild kit, but I already had one. I kind of feel bad because I would have rather bought it from my local guys, but you can't be too careful when there's a single source supplier for Traxxas parts in town. But anyway, that's how we went about finding, getting a good place to intelligently ask for what parts we need and to go on the search and turn them up relatively easy at a good price. Anyway, thanks. We'll move on to the next step now.
Hey guys, today I'm out and about. We're gonna do a little horse trading and a parts run for the Backyard Basher. Let me show you what I've brought to trade with one of my friends that has an RC collection that'll blow your mind. What we have here is the bodies from the orange body is, that's terrible. All right, let me show you what I brought. All right, the orange body is off of the Slash that we're gonna turn into an oval track racer. And we're not gonna need that body anymore. I'm thinking it's probably gonna look like a Ford Mustang if we can't find something even cooler than that. The other body that we're also not going to use is for, that's the body that was on the car we're working on now to turn into a Backyard Basher. So we're gonna trade both of those. And then my friend was also interested in the wheels that the previous owner had painted the beadlocks orange on. That's off our future oval track racer. So we brought those to him, and the preliminary deal was all 4 of those tires and the 2 bodies for the body that we're going to use on the Basher, and a couple other little parts that are going to be really cool. And then I discovered that my Backyard Basher had one mismatched wheel on it, and I wondered why. I inspected it and found out, oh, in the lot there was the wheel that came off of it, and the tire was all blown out and half unglued. So I had managed, while trying to get my Mud Boss oval track racer up and running right, I had ended up with a pair of chrome Kumos that I only have 2 of, and I've got some chrome with black beadlocks in the regular Traxxas tire that I only have 2 of. And this is the tire that was blown out. You can see where it's split there and it's come unglued. Yeah, that is completely not usable. So we're gonna see if John has see if he's got some tires where we can swap around, maybe give him these 2 for a pair to match these, or vice versa. I feel like he will probably have something that'll work, because even though mine are new, I will take used in exchange. Anyway, that, and we've got to go get one part from our local hobby shop, and I'll see if they'll let me film inside so you can kind of see the process of finding your parts and how cool it can be and how tempting it is to purchase new cars while you're there and all that good stuff. So anyway, we'll talk to you. Sexy Beast and I just rolled up on Three Rivers Marine, which is our local Traxxas dealer. And always get online to look. You may have more than you know, because that's the only indication from the outside of the building that they sell them at all. Now let's go in and have a look around. A whole lot of boat parts and stuff on the front, but looky here. Cabinet right up front, we've got some Traxxas cords there. We got the chargers and the Blenheim system. Light kit, little TRX 4M High Trail C10 with a supercharger sitting. Oh, that's the monster truck one. Oh, that's cool. There's one of the steel drive shafts like we're having to deal with. And as we come back this way, look around. We've got nitro fuel down here. We've got some shock oils. Usually that's stocked way better. It's probably about time for them to put an order in. Now I'm seeing some empty pegs, and normally there aren't any. But look at all these Traxxas parts.
And that's one reason if you're gonna do this on a budget, you're probably gonna be going with a lot of Traxxas, is because their dealers are able to keep a whole bunch of inventory. There's a brand new 2-wheel drive Slash, 4-wheel drive Rustler. This is where the parts begin. And then there's also a Trax, which is Traxxas's bargain brand. The cars are usually minis, but they have the same durability and parts availability that you find on the big Traxxas cars. There's a thing about the new transmission. Big Stampede 4x4, Rustler 4x4, the TRX4 monster truck. Got another Slash at the bottom, another Slash, and another Slash. Rustler. There's some of the Trax cars. The Tetone's real popular. Looks like they've got 3 of those. Got a Max up on top. Those things are cool. Let me come around this side. Alright, that's just, yeah, that's the box from the Max and the box from the Stampede. But anyway, as we look around, you can see they've got a lot of stuff. Now, the 2 numbers that I've been looking for, I think it's a 2046, or no, it's 2640. So we'll follow down the aisles till we get to the number 25. Sometimes I have a little trouble keeping up with the way they got their numbers spread out. Oh no! That's what we were needing. Looks like we're gonna have to order those in. But we can do that. Looks like I got a little confused. That is the one we're needing. So those pins that were really rusty and corroded for $4.50, just makes sense to put brand new ones there to make the suspension travel a lot smoother and make me be a whole lot happier with the vehicle.
All around the neighborhood. My buddy, like, he's got the newest version of it, which is the Mini's like $1,000 now. But there's a lake like 5 miles from his house. He can fly that thing to the lake.
All right, well, what I brought you, John? The body from our backyard basher, and it's a little battered back in here. It's got a split and it's cut right there, and on this side. Evidently that kid wasn't all that great a driver, kind of like me. And this one's got a small split right there into the number plate, and then another one here. Other than that, it's intact. It's just sun faded.
Yep.
Black wheels with custom orange beadlocks. I don't think they're...
That's factory.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
So we got you 4 of those. And there were some materials we talked about previously, but I was hoping that maybe so one of my wheels that matches for that car has a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was hoping maybe so we could work a trade for a pair that had the same rim as that.
Okay.
For, those are rears.
All right, let me go get my pile of Slash tires.
And I've got some good trade bait here, I think.
I am considering selling my mud boss.
Are you?
So if you want those wheels and tires back, those are on the table as well. But I do have Slash sets. No, red probably wouldn't work.
Red wouldn't be all that great.
And
Oh, that's it.
these, the full set.
Dude, the first one you pulled out is what I need.
I may have
Oh no, that's a mud terrain. I really need the
that
Traxxas tire.
This one. But it's not in great shape.
It's better than the one I got. And that'll work for a backyard basher.
Here's this pile of goodies too.
It's comparable to that one. Oh wait, these are BFGs. I was mistaken. The one that's blown out is not, but the other one is BFG. So how about we do that, and then I'll trade you some Kumos or Traxxas, whichever one you like better.
For these?
Yeah, for that one there.
You just want one of these?
I just need the one where it'll match. I've got a good matching set now, so that'll complete.
So you
my
do
car.
have BFGs like this?
Yeah, that's the rest of my set here. Yeah. So now I've got 4 BFGs on matching rims. And I've got a chrome pin so I can touch those up so it'll look bad to the bone in the pictures when we're done.
Yeah.
That's a full set. That would make me very happy.
Okay, so you want those?
Yes. I'll keep my blowed out piece of crap. Which ones am I trading you for it? These are Kumos, but they're not S1s.
Yeah. So I got. These Traxxas spec tires.
Yeah, Traxxas spec.
Probably go with these.
All right.
So
If you're cool with the 2-for-1 to finish out, so I'll have a matching set.
that'd be 2 for 4. Right. Maybe 4.
Did you pull out 4?
Yeah.
I didn't think
But
you pulled out.
you're good to take that whole set.
Oh, I thought I brought this whole
I
set.
pulled all those out.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to go with that whole set, you're fine with
Well,
that.
let's do that. Let's do 4 for 4.
Well, that's 5. You want to do these?
That one was yours. You pulled it out of a different place.
I did.
Yeah. So let's do 4 for 4.
Okay.
I'll trade 4 new for 4 used to get a
Are you good with that?
matching set that'll look perfect on there. Let's see. Front, rear, perfect.
Let's see. Okay. Good.
It's damaged now.
So. That's done. So if you need any of this stuff, we're good too, because I don't have to have any of this stuff.
Okay. But
So if we do spec slash, I got one of these that was blown out. I already took the tire off the wheel, so I'm gonna take one more off and probably put S1s on the rear and steer the one up. So, but I do have 2 sets of these, the red ones. I got one on the truck and one here. And then, so if there's anything else you need, just let me know.
I appreciate that, but I think we're good for now because I'll buy new ones when the other car gets turned into an oval racer. It's gonna get probably brand new ones because race car stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give everybody a sneak peek here. We've got a wheelie bar, which is going to be necessary with a VXL on it, and maybe if we tease it with a 3S every once in a while, it's definitely going to need a wheelie bar. These are for a different project, but John said he didn't want them, so I'll take them because that'll be awesome. Got some new side bumpers because the other ones, if you remember, were trash. And then some green front arms just to make it look cool. And if you've got a Slash 2 or 4-wheel drive, get you some RPM front arms. The front ones are made out of, was it glass? Is that what they're made out of, or crystal?
I like crystal.
Either way, they're super fragile if they get them from Traxxas. The RPM ones will last you the rest of your life. They are super tough. But that's what our backyard basher is going to look like. I think it's going to be way cool, and it'll be popping wheelies and hauling butt. It'll be great fun for the whole family.
Oh, and then we've got John's son was passing through Arlington, and even though on my parts running trip, I went past Three Rivers Marine. When you get a chance to look elsewhere, you take it when you've only got one place to get parts in town. And John's son Josh was kind enough to pick me up the front hinge pins because ours were super corroded and nasty, and that rebuild kit we needed to save our rear drive shafts. And all in all, that was very affordable, and get that car up and running. We'll still be on a budget, and it'll be all kinds of fun and look really awesome. That's enough of that crap. Let's see. Gotta figure out how much I owe Josh. 19 there, and 3. 19, 3 is 22. I'll let him make a little bit on the exchange. Cool.
And then, like I said, if there's anything else sash related you need, let me know. I got other parts. I do not think that you run side bumpers with that body.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
It's
narrow.
it's looking a little narrow compared to the other, so.
And I don't know, I can't remember. I think I had to take the back bumper off, but in order to put the wheelie bar on, I think you gotta remove the back bumper anyway.
Okay.
So, if anything, you may have to do a little trimming around that motor area, but
Well, we're gonna try like hell not to, because it's just too cool for it to have the motor on it.
yeah, I think the wheelie bar will tuck under with no issues.
That's gonna be cool.
But how that bumper sticks up, I think that hits it, and I think I had to take it off as well.
And this is why I come see John when I need parts. And I don't much think this is all of it, is it, John?
No, not quite. Those totes are all full. That cabinet's full. There's wheels down there. I got stuff everywhere.
All right, here are the parts we got for our backyard basher. Let's start with the green arms on the left. Those are RPM brand. Got them from my friend John King, and they're green and still in the package, and I think will look great with the body we're gonna put on it. We have RPM side bumpers. Once again, they're much tougher than stock, and I sourced them in the same place through my good friend who had ended up with them in a trade or something like that. The 3640, that's the pins that have the threads right by the head, those special screws for the entire suspension on the truck. And the ones we pulled out were just too bad to reuse, so we got new ones. The 2640 is the inner pins for the front arms, and once again ours were just terrible, and those were super cheap, so I got new ones. 6757 was a fairly expensive part. It was $18, which is within just a few dollars of getting plastic replacement drive shafts, but it's the rebuild kit for the drive shafts, and the steel ones are much better and will last longer and will handle 3S much better, so it's good that we got those. Then over here we have a factory / wheelie bar that John had that he's not using on anything, but when we put 3S to this thing, it's gonna need it, so it's really cool that we have it. Here is our Volkswagen Beetle body. It's black and splattered with lime green paint. It's pretty cool. I think it's gonna make for a really neat looking vehicle when we're done. Then we did some horse trading around with some slash wheels I had acquired from a Mud Boss to give us a full set of matching rim BF Goodrich Mud Terrain TAs. And then there are the parts from the center part of the chassis all cleaned up and ready to go. But we are ready to go with assembly, but first I'm going to show you the last part of disassembly. All right, guys, we are almost done taking this thing apart so we can clean it up and check all the pieces. First thing we got to do, let's get this steering servo loose from the chassis. keep in mind that we discovered this thing has some problems, so we're going to need to check it when we get it out. So these 4 screws here are what holds in the servo. And sometimes, I was afraid of that, sometimes they won't come out until you remove the servo saver down here. And they call this a servo saver because when you put real high, if like you wreck the car or something, this is designed to slip a little bit momentarily so that it doesn't break your servo or strip out the gears. It just kind of pops loose and then pops right back. That's the theory anyway. These little blue Traxxas servos, the strength that it takes to pop, the impact that it takes to pop your servo saver is almost identical to what it takes to strip the gears. So just keep that in mind. If you play with one of these very hard at all, you're going to end up replacing gears in your servo. Okay. Now the servo's loose. And it was missing a screw from the receiver box because the receiver lives in this little box right here. And that's another Phillips. I don't believe that's a factory screw. Bet you when we put it back together, that's gonna get a hex head in it. Oh yeah, especially since the head of this, since this one's stripped out. Okay. First thing we'll try is a pair of pliers to get that stripped screw out. No dice. Well, that means we're gonna have to bring out the big guns. First thing we're gonna try is a pair of bent needle nose so that maybe we can get a bite and give it a little twist. We cannot. Oh, this is annoying. That's not going to work. Okay, sorry I had to step away. But what I did is I went and got the Dremel tool, and unfortunately I don't have a plug by this table, so I had to take it elsewhere. And I cut a little slot in there, and hopefully now a straight screwdriver. Yes, it's working. Keep in mind the head of the screw is compromised, so we're going to be slow and steady getting this thing out. It's getting looser. We got this thing whooped. But the screw was too long with the wrong head, and it's really not a surprise that we had trouble getting it out. There it is, it's out. Now you can see the receiver sitting in the box there. Where the wires come through here, typically Traxxas will put in some little waterproofing grease around the wires, and there is a gasket that goes around the receiver lid. This one's still in good shape. It's going to require some cleaning, but it's still in good shape. So let's get this apart here. There we go. This one has some foam in it to keep a seal. So we're going to unplug the steering servo, and this one goes to the ESC. And we'll pull them out through the slot down here. Or attempt to. There we go. Now the ESC is completely loose and we can set it off to one side. It's good to go. Although it won't be going back in this car because we're switching over to the VXL brushless system. For more power, baby. As they say on another YouTube channel. Come on. All right. Now we'll get the servo fed up. All right, that's loose. Those look like 2.5s holding the receiver box in. Nope, they're 2. And when you change over from brushed to brushless, we're still going to be able to use this. This receiver will not have to be changed. We'll clean it up as best we can because we don't want to get a whole lot of water on electronics. All right, we've got it almost all the way apart. All that's left are these decimated, broken up side bumpers. Take those out. That's off, and that's trash. Now let's get this other piece of trash off our chassis. And even though I'm taking this down to a bare chassis plate, the purpose of me doing that is mainly just to show you guys that it's not an impossible task to take your slash down to this piece right here and put it all back together. Shh, don't tell my wife, but I'm fixing to go wash this in the sink with her dish scrubbers because it won't fit in my ultrasonic cleaner. We'll put the lid, that lid, and the hardware in, and probably the servo saver because it's got a lot of dirt in it. So we'll put those in to clean. I'll wash this in the sink and I'll catch you next time. Have a great day, dudes.